Soy lecithin powder. How exactly do you get the most out of it?
Well, today on WTF, we're going to show you 3 ways to use this versatile ingredient. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Scott Guerin, the Research and Development Chef.
And I'm Janie Wang, the owner of Modernist Pantry. And today, Scott and I have a really great ingredient for you. It's called soy lecithin powder. And you might have heard of this already, but Scott, what is soy lecithin powder and what are some of its major functions?
So soy lecithin powder is a fatty acid that can be used to make emulsions. Emulsions, for people who don't know, are taking a water and an oil and mixing them together. So 2 things that do not mix and keeping them cohesive.
Great. So, when we talk about emulsions, and one of the things that, we love really here about soy lecithin powder is that it actually does a lot of different things. So, and we have a few different examples here for you today. But Scott, what exactly, is an emulsion? Like, how does it work in baking? How does it work, in this salad dressing we have here? Well, let's just start with these because they look delicious.
So yeah, we'll go with the ones that are the most visually appealing. So emulsions, people think mainly salad dressings, but emulsions can happen inside of baked ingredients. They can happen inside of even milk is an emulsion, a natural homogenized emulsion. So soy lecithin powder, what it does is it's going to take that liquid and it's going to help bind it, and it's almost going to coat those little globules, if you will, of oil, and it's going to keep them surrounded so that the moisture doesn't come out and the oil doesn't come out, and you have something that is better for longer. And that's kind of what happens here with these cinnamon rolls. So we made some apple cider cinnamon rolls, and you can find that recipe at blog.modernistpantry.com.
Yep.
And we have 2 different batches. The one on the right here is made with the soy lecithin powder. You can see there, the color's really nice. They're a little bit more plump. Yes. And the ones on the left here are, you see they're almost wilted. They've almost shrunken. And these are the exact same recipe. The only difference is adding soy lecithin powder to one of them.
All right.
So the soy lecithin powder holds in that moisture so they don't stale as quickly.
Okay, and you baked these at the exact same time. We didn't do this one 2 days in advance.
This is a side-by-side comparison, yeah. So
okay.
they're the exact same recipe, and you can just see the moisture just comes right out of this. They were made yesterday so we can see them the next day. Usually when you have cinnamon rolls, the next day they're not as good. I'm still going to eat them because they're cinnamon rolls, right. But they're not going to be as good as when they first came out of the oven unless you use soy lecithin powder, which is going to keep them from staling. And also you put the glaze on them. You won't even know that they're made the day before. So if you're in a restaurant or even at home and you don't want to wake up, a few extra hours early to get your cinnamon buns ready for your brunch service or your brunch with your friends, make them a day ahead of time, use the soy lecithin powder, and make your life easier.
Right, and suppose you're like, this seems like a great effect, and just so we can kind of show that that these are really cool. If we kind of tap on them,
yeah, these right here are nice and soft, and you can't hear anything. You can see that they're still nice and soft, but these you can hear like a knocking.
You're right.
So
they're super hard. And so if you want to use soy lecithin powder in your own recipe, how would you suggest that people go about incorporating this ingredient
That's a great question, because
kitchen?
people will think, oh, that seems difficult. I don't want to change my recipe. And that's the best part, is you don't have to change your recipe. All you do is you take 1% of the total weight of the flour.
Okay.
And now people may be saying, oh, that's a lot of math for me. It's actually very simple. So let's just say, for an example, your recipe has 100 grams of flour. You're only going to need 1 gram of soy lecithin powder. And then you just mix it in with your flour and go about your recipe as normal. That way it doesn't change your recipe, it doesn't change the method, it doesn't change the cook temp. You just go about it as normal, and it's going to keep it better for longer.
Great. And when we do something like this, one of the beauties of it is that this particular ingredient does a lot of different things. So here, and in our test kitchen, we have like shelves and shelves and shelves of powders, and if you're like, that's too much, and I really only want like 1, 2, maybe three things to put in my pantry, This is a really fantastic one because it does do so many different things. We can see it here, you're using it for baking, but we can also use it in a salad dressing. So, and what do we have here, Scott, in terms of the differences between the two salad dressings?
So we talked about soy lecithin powder here, but we also have another ingredient, which is liquid soy lecithin. And people may go to the website looking for soy lecithin powder and say, oh, well, there's two. There's a liquid, there's a powder. Which one do I need? If you're going to be doing something that is, the majority is made of water, like these cinnamon rolls are, I want to suggest just using the soy lecithin powder. It's really easy. You can mix it in there, and it's great in any baked good, not just these. But anything that has the majority fat, I would suggest using liquid soy lecithin because you can mix it right into your fat before you make a dressing. And these two dressings, like these cinnamon rolls, the exact same recipe. I did them side by side. This one I mixed the liquid soy lecithin into the oil, and the reason why you do that is because liquid soy lecithin loves oil. It doesn't love water. It's actually hydrophobic, so it does not incorporate into water until you make something like an emulsion. So I just use a hand blender, I mix it into the oil, then I make my dressing as normal. It's a honey balsamic vinaigrette, and the recipe is at blog.modernistpantry.com for this as well. And it's so simple, but it makes an emulsion that stays for much longer. As you can see, the one on the right here is breaking and it's separating out all the vinegar. And even though there's honey in it, which does act as a little emulsifier, it's going to separate eventually. And I made these yesterday, and you can see that they're already separating. And I mixed them up before. Well, I mixed this one up. I don't have to mix up the one that's emulsified. It's starting to separate out. So if you're in a restaurant, or even if you're at home and you have it in the refrigerator, you don't have to shake it up. You can just put it on. It's going to be completely consistent because the oil and the vinegar are mixed together evenly, so you're not worrying about getting some leaves that have all vinegar, you're not getting some leaves that have all oil. You have a nice even dressing and it looks beautiful.
Right, and this is definitely a great time saver for when you're working in a kitchen. So I know, Scott, when you were working in a restaurant and you made tons of salad dressing, Is it kind of like a time saver to not have to shake that salad dressing constantly when you're
sometimes
trying to
it's even habit because people immediately start shaking it up. But if you have this, you can just put it right on. Whether you're doing anything from Caesar dressing to a balsamic vinaigrette, you want to make sure that it's consistent for every customer or guest, even if you're at home. This is great for anyone who's doing it. So you don't want to have anyone shaking and then it's separating and shaking and separating. You want everyone to have the exact same experience. So this helps with time, consistency, and saving money, because if people get a dressing that's all oil, there's no balsamic on it, they're probably going to send it back. You have to make another one.
Right, exactly. No, that's a great point. And if you have your own favorite salad dressing recipe, again, just like with the baking, and you're like, oh, I love the product, but I want to make it my own, like how much would you recommend that they use starting off?
So I like the same percentage, 1% of the total weight of the oil. I always go with the total weight of the oil for dressing, so I'm not adding too much. I would suggest, if you are doing this, a really good trick with it is to use like a honey, it's not a dispenser, but like a little honey stick that you can do it, and then you put it,
honeycomb.
A little mini honey stick, and it allows you to dose it very easily right into the oil. I would suggest measuring your oil, measuring this into the oil, because then you don't have to put it into a container that you have to scrape it out of. Blending it up and going about your recipe as normal. It's going to keep it better for longer. It's going to save you time and money in the long run. So I would 1% for both these, but there is one more use that we can go into for powdered soy lecithin, or soy lecithin powder, is foams. And we talked about foams in a prior WTF episode, and this is the original powerhouse in culinary foams. People, when they first started making foams and first started putting them on entrees, they were using soy lecithin powder just into any flavorful liquid. So if you want something that's extremely rich and savory, like a mushroom foam that went on an entree, or you can even go all the way to dessert and make like a strawberry foam. It's not going to add any flavor. It's not going to change the appearance of it. You can make a really nice culinary foam, and that was the first real ingredient that people started saying, oh wow, this is beautiful, let's put this on every plate. And it's great because we have appetizer here that uses it, we have an entree, depending on whatever you're doing, and then all the way to dessert, brunch. This can be used in anything.
Cool. So if you do want to use soy lecithin as a foam, we can really, we can maybe briefly mention the usage ratios here, but definitely, we're going to link right here to the WTF foaming episode, so you can check out soy lecithin powder as well as the other 4 foaming ingredients that we've highlighted in that episode. So, definitely check that out. It gives you a lot of options, a lot of knowledge about the foaming process. But just real quick, if we wanted to make a foam with soy lecithin powder, you already have it in your hand. How much do we use to foam?
So it differs from these two, as these are 1% of the total weight. For foam, I would go about 0.6% of the total weight of the entire recipe. So you just mix it right in, blend it up. You can use a hand blender, you can use a magic wand that we sell at modernistpantry.com. You can use a magic air maker, which we sell at modernistpantry.com, which are all demoed in that foaming WTF that we did. But it's very easy to do. All you do is whisk it in, or you can just mix it with like a fork and then put the whatever you're using to make the air into it, and it's going to make air. But one more thing we do have is people can see that there's 3 ingredients here. We have the Modernist Pantry packages, but we also have a Druid's Grove non-GMO
that's this one
soy
right
lecithin
here.
powder. So that's really nice for anyone. It's also a vegan product. So, well, all of them are vegan, but that is vegan specific. Non-GMO, vegan. It's really good if you're going to do baking or anything and you want completely non-GMO. You go with that product right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do have a lot of great options here. And I'm going to throw a curveball at Scott because I just thought of something, which is a question I often get, which is I'm at the local health store and I picked up soy lecithin granules. Can I just use them instead of soy lecithin powder?
In some things you can, but in most instances you cannot. So I would suggest if you're seeing these recipes and these say soy lecithin powder, I would absolutely go with the soy lecithin powder. But if you find a recipe elsewhere that says soy lecithin granules, use those. But I would not interchange them in the recipes that we're talking about, in the methods that we're talking about here.
Yeah, and kind of what is that mainly because it's not going to disperse properly, or
yeah, it doesn't disperse in the
work?
same way. These are much larger granules. This is a much finer powder
Yep.
that will get right into the liquid and dissolve easily. With the granules, you'll have to do a lot more work, blending, etc.
Yeah, and for folks at home, who either have this product already or are considering this product, do you have any other tips and tricks for them? What should anything that's kind of special about this product that they should know about, or anything that would make their life easier when they do go about using it?
Just know that we are showing these recipes here, but they can be incorporated to any baked good.
Absolutely.
So if you have a baked good recipe that you want to keep better for longer, say you bake bread and you want to keep it out, slice it, keep it out on the counter, you can add soy lecithin powder. Any dressing that you already have a recipe for that you love, you can make it more stable for longer with liquid soy lecithin.
Yep.
It's going to help. It's not going to change the flavor, not going to change the method, not going to change the amount of time it takes you to make it. So it's actually very versatile and it's very easy to use.
Cool. So, just to recap, so soy lecithin powder, it takes you from your salad course to your entree course to your dessert course. If you're only going to buy a couple of different of these special ingredients to add to your pantry because you want one that can do it all, this is definitely one that can serve a lot of different functions and do them all pretty well.
Yes.
So, we love it here, and it's a great product, and we do offer in a 50-gram size, a 400-gram size, a liter, 250. This one's a 8-ounce. I should know that by heart, but I didn't. So yeah, so you have a lot of different options here. Yes.
Do have one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you are going to be using this, I wouldn't measure it out and leave it out. I wouldn't take out the package, open it, and leave it out. These need to be sealed, and it's good with the Modernist Pantry packaging that it already has a resealable top on it. So if you can do that, reseal it, make sure it's closed, you can put it into your cabinet. But I would not leave it out. I wouldn't measure it too early because it will clump up. Soy lecithin powder loves moisture.
Yes.
It's going to take the moisture right out of the air, and then it's going to be very hard to mix into your recipe.
Yeah.
If you are going to make, prep for your bread that you're going to do later, I would take it and mix it in with the flour. It's going to coat it. It's going to keep it dry. You can do that, but I wouldn't just leave it in a bowl off to the side because then you're going to have to, scrape it out. It's going to be stuck to the insides. It's going to be a little clumped up. It loves water so much. That's why it does its job so well, but we need to make sure that we're not, you don't want to waste your money by putting it out there. So make sure it's in a nice, cool, dry place, resealed, away from the elements.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you loved this episode of WTF, check out our other episodes. Check out Foaming for sure. Check out, all the ones in our YouTube channel. And don't forget to
Subscribe. Also turn the bell on so you can get notified. Anytime we come out with a new video, it'll notify you. You'll be the first to see it. You'll be the first to go to that link and find a new recipe, and you can try out these new amazing ingredients.
Yep. And don't forget to go to our blog, blog.modernistpantry.com, where you can ask Scott, ask a chef, anything.
Yeah, so you can
food
ask.
related.
Yeah, food
no
related,
weird
please.
questions that's not food related, please.
Yes.
Keep it food related.
If you have any questions about this ingredient or other ingredients that we have, or you have an idea that you don't necessarily know will work, send me those questions. It gets my brain working. I can help you, and then we can help so many other people that could see it. So right there's a form. You can ask me a question. It comes directly to me. There isn't a team of people I have answering these. Trust me. So ask those questions. I will get back to you, and then we can learn together.
Yeah, absolutely. So here, from the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, we're signing off. I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Guerin.
Toodaloo!
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you want these great recipes and these awesome ingredients, first you're going to have to like, comment, and subscribe. And then you're going to go to blog.modernistpantry.com where you can find those awesome recipes and you can ask a chef. And to get these great ingredients, go to modernistpantry.com. And until next time, we'll be here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen helping you transform food.